This is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. The Crow tribe is filing a civil complaint against a Bureau of Indian Affairs canine officer after video surfaced of an arrest last week in Lodge Grass.
He was not even doing anything for a traffic signal.
Last Wednesday, Harris Red Star of Lodge Grass was pulled over. The video of that stop quickly spread through social media, showing officers putting handcuffs on Harris as the police dog bit his foot and refused to release its bite despite the handler's commands. The civil suit accuses BIA officer Steve Stallings of aggravated assault, criminal endangerment, and negligent endangerment, causing Red Star emotional and physical injury. The tribe is seeking to have Stallings excluded from the reservation. In a statement, the tribe said, "Unfortunately, nothing in this video is surprising to anyone who's lived on the Crow Nation. Excessive force against Crow people by a federal officer should never happen. The video clearly shows an officer who's not properly trained, who cannot control a canine, and shouldn't be policing our land and our people in tribal lands." Red Star was cited with resisting arrest, obstructing, and assault on a peace officer for his part in that incident. Well, a rancher at the center of a case of animal cruelty in Stillwater County is now trying to get his surviving animals back. These pictures that were taken when the animals were discovered back at the end of May were provided us by Dr. Brian Rowe, the veterinarian, who was brought in by the sheriff's office to assist with the case. Jack Frank Myers was charged with 3 felony counts of aggravated cruelty after more than 300 cows, calves, and heifers were seized on the Triple Tree Ranch. Dozens of dead animals were also discovered on that property. According to court documents, since then, Rowe says the surviving cows have made a dramatic recovery. And as you can see, they have been in a feedlot at a cost of approximately $21,000 a month since then. Myers told investigators that he'd done everything he could for the cattle and is now asking that they be returned to his custody. A hearing is set for tomorrow. We'll let you know how that comes out. Well, 4 officers who defended the Capitol during the January 6th attack delivered dramatic and emotional testimony before our House committee today. They described the horrors they faced when a violent mob of pro-President Trump supporters stormed the building while the Senate was certifying results from the November election. Skylar Henry has more from Capitol Hill.
What we were suggested that day was like something from a medieval battle. We fought hand to hand, inch by inch.
4 police officers described the terror they endured when the mob of Trump supporters attacked the Capitol. Officer Daniel Hodges was trapped between a door and the attackers. He described one as foaming at the mouth.
If I stayed there, then I was gonna, pass out from lack of oxygen or get dragged out into the crowd.
The severely outnumbered officers said they feared for their lives as the angry crowd closed in.
You're gonna die tonight. I could feel myself losing oxygen and recall thinking to myself, this is how I'm going to die.
I heard chanting from some in the crowd, "Get his gun," and kill him with his own gun.
One officer testified the crowd hurled racial slurs at him.
One woman in a pink MAGA shirt yelled, "You hear that, guys? They voted for Joe Biden."
Officers urged the committee to place blame for the breach on former President Trump.
All of them were telling us Trump sent us.
If a hitman is hired and he kills somebody, the hitman goes to jail. But not only does the hitman go to jail, but the person who hired them does. There was an attack carried out on January 6th, and a hitman sent them.
While Democrats promise a thorough investigation, many Republicans continue to embrace former President Trump's downplaying of the attack, prompting frustration from officers.
The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful.
Nearly 550 people have been arrested in the months since the breach. Officials promise more will be held accountable. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, today's hearing was just the first in the investigation. No word on when the next hearing will take place. Nearly 48 hours after escaping custody, the Park County Jail inmate who overpowered a guard, stole his gun and a detention center van is back behind bars tonight. 34-year-old Jordan Linday was arrested without incident about 10:15 this morning and has been taken back to the Park County Detention Center. There were no other details released about the circumstances of his arrest. Well, tonight at 5:30, we reported that Bighorn County Attorney Jay Harris had been placed on the State Bar of Montana inactive list. Tonight, in a letter sent to MTN, it states he has been reinstated to active status and called the issue an oversight on his part. All right, time to take a quick look at weather with meteorologist Matthew Hidalgo, and that hot streak is still alive and looks like it's going to be, unfortunately, rolling forward.
Yes, and we did break another record today. Let's take a look. Billings, Sheridan, and Miles City all broke their previous records. Billings at 106, Sheridan at 104, and Miles City at 107 degrees today. Now, taking a look at the Billings Almanac, to put it in perspective, the average high around this time of year is 89 degrees, and we did add to our streak. Now we're at 13 consecutive days in a row of 90 degrees or hotter. Billings now ties the 5th longest consecutive streak, and we can make it into the top 4 by the end of the week. We will have more with the full forecast in just a bit. Back to you, Russ.
All right, thank you, Matthew. Governor Greg Gianforte was in Billings today to meet with local addiction specialists. The topic of conversation, a new app with a goal to help better connect people with resources when they're on the road to recovery and thinking about relapse. At a news conference this afternoon, local mental health professionals and representatives from drug court explained how the new program is helping Montanans. Q2's Mitch Leahy has more.
In Billings, mental health professionals have been utilizing a new technology to help keep their patients on the path to recovery and free from their substance abuse. The new tool to treat substance use disorder was brought about by a partnership between 3 organizations, the Rimrock Foundation and the Substance Abuse Connect Coalition in Billings, and a behavioral science tech company called Gomo Health. The cell phone-based program allows patients in drug court or other rehab programs 24/7 access to mental health tools, reminders, and helpful info to keep them on the path to recovery and away from relapse.
Crisis doesn't happen Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, and our clients often need us after hours, and peer support is available to them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that they don't have to deal with those triggers alone, that they don't have to deal with whatever crisis comes alone.
The program is dubbed Pathways to Recovery and has been using the cell phone-based tech with patients in Billings since March. A gentleman who gave his first name as Robert said the Pathways program in drug court helped him manage his recovery and regain contact with his 5-year-old and 3-year-old sons.
This program actually has shown me how to be an adult and strengthen those relationships that I tossed to the wind beforehand. I know this program's a huge step leap in the right direction, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
The Recovery Pathway cell phone app had one of its first rollouts in Montana, and the program will be used as a template to help other communities across the country. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte said the program was a new tool to help 2 problems in the state brought about by drug abuse.
1, a workforce shortage in the field, and 2, access to services to those struggling with addiction. Taken together, these efforts will help Montanans prepare to successfully re-enter communities, reunite with their family, friends, and neighbors.
In Billings, Mitch Leahy, MTN News.
Thank you, Mitch. The governor also noted the addition of 7 probation and parole officers to the Yellowstone County justice system after this year's state legislative session. Masks may soon become reality again as the Centers for Disease Control updated its mask guidance today. This as new cases of COVID-19 continue to surge nationwide. The CDC now says that fully vaccinated Americans should wear masks in indoor public settings where there's a substantial or high transmission of coronavirus. They are also recommending that all staff and students wear masks in schools from K through 12 regardless of vaccination status. The new guidance comes as officials say the highly transmissible Delta variant is causing a surge of cases and hospitalizations. As of now, only about half of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated. Here in Montana, there are nearly 800 active cases throughout the state at last update. Despite the uptick, both Montana Senator Steve Daines and Governor Greg Gianforte spoke out against the new mandate, with Daines saying he believes the new guidance will undermine confidence in vaccines. Montana has almost $460 million available in federal COVID-19 relief funds for water and sewer projects in the state. But cities, counties, and water districts and others are submitting requests for $1 billion worth of jobs. Tonight, MTN's Mike Dennison tells us how the state will decide who gets that money.
Ultimately, the decision will be made by Governor Greg Gianforte, but he's likely to follow the recommendation of a 9-member advisory commission that met Tuesday in Helena.
With 321 project applications and $900 million in requests, you're a popular bunch.
And even more applications are expected from cities and counties for as much as another $90 million in requests, on top of the $910 million already in. The Infrastructure Advisory Commission will likely make its recommendations at a September meeting. But before then comes something perhaps even more important, the scoring of the grants by the State Department of Natural Resources and Conservation with the help of other state agencies. DNRC Deputy Director Anna Miller said the scoring will consider things like public health needs, such as water quality, capacity needs in booming towns like Belgrade or Big Sky, matching funds provided by the applicant, and whether the project is ready to go. $150 million in grants are set aside for cities and counties with a finite amount they can apply for. Then there's $250 million for competitive grants, which have attracted $850 million in applications. Applications from just 5 counties account for almost half the money in the competitive grant pool, including $147 million from entities in Gallatin County and $117 million from Yellowstone County. That prompted this remark from State Representative Jim Keene of Butte.
It looks like the big counties are trying to suck the well dry before anybody else gets a tap at it here. Is there going to be anything left for the other people if those grants are given to them?
State officials said the scoring will determine who's first in line for the money. The scoring is already underway and will be completed in less than 3 weeks by August 15th. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
A full list of the applicants can be found on the state's ARPA website. More housing in the form of apartments will soon be erected on the Billings West End. According to a news release from Billings real estate developer Mike Stock, crews will break ground this fall on a 720 multifamily apartment dwellings in October. Work on the roads has already started, and the units will go up just west of construction for the new Rocky Vista University Medical School near the 4100 block of Monad Road near the intersection with Shiloh. The units will be a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments and charge rent between $900 and $1,900 a month. Stock's the same developer who built the Interpoint apartments off South 44th Street and King Avenue West. Those apartments will also feature swimming pools, hot tubs, workout facilities, and clubhouses. Still to come on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, we'll cut the ribbon on a healthcare center that is not only providing new medications, but hope for patients battling multiple sclerosis. And a little later in sports, we'll check in with the newest Yellow Jacket as Michael Bazemore is celebrating his first week as the new athletic director at MSU Billings.